if a tree falls in the forest, does it make a sound? It's like, how does that apply to a song,
Yeah.
And you write a song and they're like, does it really matter? 1, 2, 3. Over the last few years, especially during and after COVID, we were having lots of conversations about what is the music business, because that was a time when all the shows kind of dried up and we were still songwriters. The upside of that was that it created this space for us to think about and to do this together in community with Goldenwood and with listening prayer, to just continue to refine those questions. Folded secrets and fragile hopes find their way to you. Here's how we do management. Here's how we do record labels. Here's how we write songs. And if you begin to put those questions forward in a new time and a new place, it prompts new solutions and new ways of doing things. Hearts beating, pray without ceasing. His eyes see the beauty.
Especially after the Industrial Revolution, everything became about, like, what is the efficiency of what you're making versus what invisible thing are you bringing into the world?
Yeah. Instead of starting with like a mechanized understanding of work, what if we started with the artistic imagination and your process for work and your process for collaboration? And what if that was really infused with the Spirit of God in a way that we started to glimpse those kind of connections to God's presence that is everywhere, but it was the artist leading the way.
Early in the morning, it's crisp and clean. It feels just like my summer can. We've been meeting over the last year as sort of an experimental group of spiritual direction / songwriting, and it's been amazing.
Just beyond yourself.
I think one of the toughest things about being an indie artist is this pressure to, like, I need to make sure everyone's caring about what I'm doing. Like, if people forget me, then that's it. I don't have a job anymore. And so I got to be interesting. I got to, like, do this. I got to, like, I guess, learn the TikTok dance.
The nature of the compensation model for our work pushes us in more and more into DIY. We just have to do it yourself. And that is also a space of isolation. So I think I had not realized post-COVID how isolated I had gotten. It's the opposite of DIY, us coming together and ruminating on things.
This path of like moving back toward attentiveness and community and vulnerability and saying, what happens when I don't meet the same standard that I met, or the next song is not as exciting as the last one, or asking those questions that in the arts, they're just like unavoidable. And if you start saying those together, then you just feel like you can curve back toward the light.
The focus of Goldenwood and Red Vineyard, as I have experienced it, is really less on like the product, like the artistic product and the outcome. It has really felt like relational formation, spiritual formation. Are your relationships healthy? Are you taking a minute to reflect on what you're doing? That has been the most important thing.
The first time we did just that circled up listening prayer for each other on each other's behalf.
Yes.
I won't cry right now. It was just so moving. I am experiencing things I haven't experienced in a really long time.
It was January and went in the middle of winter, and just kind of everyone sort of sharing really honestly kind of about like, this is what it's like, and this is what feels really hard right now, and feeling so seen and known in that. But then there was also this common voicing of like, this is what we're longing for, and this is what we're hoping for.
The function, the vision, the dream of Red Vineyard and all these things we're doing is to find out what's the ache, what's the hope in both of these spaces, in the church, in our world, because they don't exist alone, right? They collide. And so this song comes from that space.
I've been slipping through the sands of time, fear creeping up from behind, and all the tragedy and the static.
As an artist, I just have been so busy, like worried about what I was saying and what I was doing, that I had kind of forgotten to listen. And so this has been such a year of like listening to God and listening to these friends around me.
Arms around me through the night.
And so it's just, I'm like looking back a year later going, oh, that stuff that we said back in January, like that kind of happened, you know? This community's been such a part of that. The community goes with you.
So steady and strong. It's an invitation tonight. Give me a quiet night.
As we've done this like week after week together, I believe more now than when we started that songs matter and that making songs matter. If God's work is this glorious thing and we start meditating on that, then we find our place in work, and our work becomes incredibly meaningful, even the small stuff. You might be weeping while you're doing it. You might be tired in the middle of the night with an elderly parent or with a young child, and if a tree falls in the forest, it makes a sound. It's incredible to think about like the work of God, and if it's about Him and the work of God, then in His light we are seeing all this other light. Maybe that's what we're doing. That was more than a modulation. It's actually a different part of the universe.